Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Okay, so good morning. Good morning, you all. Good morning.
Yes.
Good to be with you and have you with us this morning. So we're going to get ready for our meditation. If you've been here when we've done this together before, you may know that my idea and belief and knowing is that it's a challenging thing to do. We're in the world, we're having human experiences, and we have loads of relativity. But to get beyond and to go to the place that really and truly strengthens us and keeps us fit for this human living is to just sit deeply in the lap of life. I find it the most powerful metaphysical thing to do. And I fight it like crazy most of the time, as I'm sure many of you do. So if there is anything in particular, if there are generalities swarming around your consciousness these days, let's move on the way. And the best way, I think, is the strongest way. Just you and life. You, me, and space. You, me, and our Creator. If there's anything on your lap, you might want to remove that. I want you as comfortable as possible physically. You want to take off your shoes, get those feet planted firmly on the ground. We're getting ready to take a little trip to peace. He said, the peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I don't give it to you as the world gives it to you. Do not let your heart be troubled, and do not let it be afraid. By means of coming to me, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and am humble in heart. And you will find rest for your human experience from my yoke. So do not fear, I'm with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous, strong hand. So we're going to take in some deep breaths on a 4 count. We're going to hold for 4, and we're going to breathe out on 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Release. 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again. Now sit with him. ever so slowly. Let's come back into the room. Bring your peace with you. Say to yourself, good morning, I love you. So it is.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And it's good to see all of you here today. And today we're celebrating Reverend Jesse Herriott, his birthday, his birthday. Nice enough, 24.
I know, right?
Wisdom like 80, but youth always present. Thank you very much. And we're going to start with a song, and you always feel free to join us. You can dance, you can stand. If you need to lay down, I guess that will help you become more spiritual or whatever you must do. But you're all welcome.
first word. You knew my name. Sure, you created me, but you put my blood in place. Even though I'm lost, I know you have died.
Put your hands together one more time for our musicians. Brother Arturo, Brother Mwai, and Brother Rick. Yes, come on, y'all can do better than that. Let's give them one more hand. Yeah, look at my family. Come on, ladies. Yo, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? I love y'all. Big love. How you doing? I love to mess with people. Good morning. It's good to see y'all. Y'all look good. Y'all been on vacation? Someone's like, no, I've been on workcation. See, I told y'all last Sunday. Say this with me. Sick days and PTO. I give them to you. Use them. They're yours. Some of y'all got 1,000 PTOs and 2 sick days. You're using them wrong. Use all of them. What did God tell the prophet? He said, eat the whole loaf. He told Ezekiel, eat the whole loaf. You got to use all of your time off. Y'all working too hard. This is summertime. It's beautiful. It was beautiful outside. It's beautiful outside. Go outside. Get that fresh air in you, because believe it or not, fresh air is good. Breathing in all that recycled air, scientists in the back will tell you it's not good for you all the time. You're sitting in the house, you're breathing air through the filters, you don't go outside. Even if you just go outside for a few minutes. One of my favorite therapists said to me, he said, for my clients out here in the West, I was like, well, what do you do with your clients? He said, I tell them to go outside and close the door behind them. And instantly, that anxiety that they were feeling and that tension relaxes because the place that they were in was too small. And sometimes, I'm prophetic right here, the places that we're in, persons, places, things, all the main nouns in our life, they're too small for us. They're too tiny, they're too restrictive. So you got to go outside. And then, what does the Bible say? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. That freedom comes in. Sometimes you got to expand your room. And you can't do that by sitting up in the office all day. And here's another thing. How many of you guys, and I'm going to move on, eat lunch in the office? Who eats their lunch in the office or in the workroom, in the lunchroom? Oh, y'all retired, I know, like 20 years ago. For those 2 of us that are still working, we're trying to get on y'all level. Take your lunches outside. Go eat in the car. You see your colleagues all the time. I mean, you see them for 6.5 hours a day. Take your lunch outside. Go breathe some air. Go see somebody else. Go see something different. Don't get in no trouble now because you're getting married. Go see somebody else. Go to the store. Y'all laughing. Y'all know humans. Where you going? Get on back on over here. Go on back home. Your wife waiting on you. Matter of fact, that's her calling you. Answer that phone. Turn that phone on silent. But when you do, I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. It's my birthday. When you do that, first of all, you stay out of trouble. Number one. But when you do that, you can breathe better. You can breathe better, and then you relax. Because believe it or not, a lot of our tension comes from our inability to relax. When we're constricted, it affects our nervous system. We get sick. We get these coughs. And then once you're fine, you get this dry cough. Who knows about that dry cough? That just won't go away. It's like, are you okay? No, I'm fine. When you started talking and coughing, no, I'm fine. There's just this thing I'm trying to get. Just relax. Say this with me, relax. Relax. All right, so for the next 10 minutes, I want to continue with that conversation and jump into some healing work. Auntie Vanessa led us into a powerful meditation, and the musicians followed that same energy. And I just want to do some healing work real quick for those of us that are struggling with coughs and anxiety and tension. Can y'all do this with me real quick? Take a deep breath. Place one hand on your stomach and one hand on your chest. And those of you that are watching online, you can also do this at home. We're going to do some collective Reiki work. And it's okay. I have all of my alphabet soup, so all of you Reiki masters, don't beat me up and put me in Facebook jail. It's like, what is he doing? I'm helping my community. So take a deep breath. Repeat the words, Seiheki. 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 Chokure. 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 Here's the tough one. Hanza Se Shonen. Take a deep breath. Imagine the power of God, the power of the goddess moving through your lower chakras, your sacral chakra, your root chakra, crackling up all of your survival needs. For the times in your life that you were in survival mode, trying to figure out persons, places, things, and material success and material goings-ons. See the power of God crackling up every hard thing in your life. Take another deep breath. Exhale. When the sun is set free, is free indeed. Now imagine the power of God moving through your upper or your middle 3 chakras as it's mending relationships, softening your heart, and releasing all the tension in your chest. Whether the tension is physical, emotional, psychological, or it's communal and relational. Imagine the power of God moving up through those chakras, healing all of your needs, bringing you rest and relaxation, and giving you comfort. Take a deep breath. Let it go. Now imagine the power of God moving through your upper chakras, healing your conversation, fixing your throat. For those of you that feel like you are resentful and you are in the energy of spite and there's things that you wish you had said and you didn't get a chance to say it back, let all of that go. Take a deep breath. Give everyone that has been a stumbling block to you to God in this moment, knowing that you don't have to fight this battle, but this battle belongs to the Lord. Allow the power of God to monitor your conversation and give you peace as it moves through your communication chakras. Take one more deep breath with me. Let the power of God move through your body and massage your third eye region, that wonderful spot we call the pineal gland that secretes those wonderful things all the spiritual traditions talk about, and moving all the way up to the crown of your head, massaging your brain from your amygdala to your prefrontal cortex, balancing you out, giving you self-regulation, regulating your autonomic nervous system so that your entire mind-body system can be whole again, which is your natural state. Remember this moment. Take this moment with you Monday through Saturday. If you're watching online, take this moment with you as a set point. Remember, your natural state is freedom. Come back to the room and say with me, and so it is.
And so it is.
This is our natural state. So any person, place, or thing or idea, the main nouns in our life, they have to be matched with proper adjectives and adverbs. If the nouns don't match the adverbs and adjectives that I've assigned to my life, then my life as a novel, as a paragraph, as a story is out of whack. So anything that doesn't bring you closer to peace, anything that, and you feel the check, in this conversation ain't right. I just, you know what? Let me get back to you. Push them away. Sometimes you have to love people from a distance. Say this with me, spiritual direction.
Spiritual direction.
This whole month I'm going to be talking about spiritual direction. And today's topic is taking only what's needed. Say this with me, take only what's needed. There's a wonderful phrase, Mama, that says if you want to go fast, go by yourself. And if you want to go far, take somebody with you. Companionship is a blessing in life. I've been talking for the last couple of Sundays. I'm sure y'all remember about the Apostle Paul. I've been doing in-depth studies on Paul and the Gospels. And I love to pick on Paul because Paul had a companionship problem. His problem was he could not get along with people. Paul said by the end of his life, he had been beaten 3 times with 94 stripes with the cat of 9 tails. And the reason why he was beaten wasn't just because of the message that he was teaching. It was because he was causing a ruckus in the cities where he was going. Paul didn't know how to play the game. And to play the game of life, you have to be smart and you have to see it long ways. When we get caught up in the immediacy of the moment, sometimes we can be so destructive with the things that we're feeling. When things don't go our way, there is heaven to pay. Say this with me. You're like, nope. When things don't go my way, there is heaven to pay. I had an elder tell me one time, I'm the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you're watching this, I love you because she's like, you took my line. She's going to get me when y'all see her next Sunday. But when things don't go our way, The power of God that is within us, the Christ awareness, the Christ consciousness. We talk about this consciousness all the time because Jesus is our great way shower. Well, if this is the mind that we talk about, this mind thinks, right? This mind has attributes. So when we don't think and behave with the precepts that come from that mind, then there is another mind at work. Paul, this wonderful Paul said, there's another law in my members. When I would to do good, evil is ever present. Where is it present? It's present in me. Evil doesn't come from God. It comes from humanity when we take the inverse of the principle of God and we do the opposite. Yeah. So evil is created. God said, be ye God, be whole, be me. I am God, you be God. Cats have cats, dogs have dogs, and gods have other gods. So we, like our spiritual parentage, we do like God does. We just don't do it the way God did it. Right? You tick me off, you're going to pay. But what does scripture say? Vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. What does that mean? When you have conflict, bulldozing your way through life doesn't work, right? It takes two people to have a conversation. So you can't make me talk to you, right? If I don't want to talk, then we can't have a conversation, right? That means you're talking all by yourself. And these principles are important to learn because these principles bring us peace. If we let people get on our nerves, if we let these circumstances of life, what Roshi Joan Halifax calls the happenings, it's unfortunate that things happen in life, but when humanity is as populous as it is, we tend to crash into each other more than following each other and staying in our own lane. That's where conflict comes from. We crash into each other. It's like, pow! It doesn't have to happen like that. Say that with me. It doesn't have to happen like that. What happens is when we don't think with the mind of Christ, we allow this other law that's working in our members to take hold. But what is this other law? It's the law of instinct. Say this with me. The law of instinct. That's what all of our ancestors, which I've been teaching about for the last couple of weeks, they were so motivated on sin consciousness, this evil. What is this? They didn't have the scientific knowledge that we have. It's our instinctual drives for survival, right? Scientists will tell you that the feeling of a young kid who just got a brand new pair of Jordans sitting on the school bus, and these are all white $350 shoes that his mama had to work hard to pay for. You step on his shoe, it's the same feeling that someone has if you were to put a gun to their head. It's a survival need because we value who we are and we value our time. So if I have survival needs and you have survival needs, then there's a higher law that has to be at work in our minds so that we cannot destroy one another, right? This mind is the law of Christ. So if this mind, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ. Minds think. That's how we know we're talking about intelligence. God is divine intelligence. So the goddess is divine intelligence, yes? Yeah. This mind thinks, as is your thoughts, so your deeds. So when we don't listen to the thoughts that come from the mind of God, then we come out of our bodies and out of ourselves sideways. And this is the great work. The brother said in the back before service, the hardest thing that you'll ever do isn't learning how to be spiritual. It's not another spiritual technique. It's not another spiritual practice. The hardest thing that you'll ever do in this life is learning how to be human. It's learning how to treat one another. It's learning how to respect one another. We say, namaste, the God in me salutes the God in you. But when your conversation doesn't call on the God in me and it calls on my natural biological instincts, I'm trying to figure out what God you serve. Because we're apparently not talking about the same consciousness. See, this is the real work. It's the work of learning how to take care of myself and recognize that you're taking care of yourself, and then making sure that these two selves come together in harmony. Where two or three are gathered together, there I am in the midst. The I am, which is God, divine intelligence, can't manifest correctly in our lives when we don't get along. So what tends to happen is God comes into our life sideways. Say this with me, broken projects. When things happen, but they don't happen all the way right, there was a disconnect somewhere. And it's not about fault finding or shaming. It's about looking inside of oneself and asking oneself, how can I be better? How can I do better? How can I be not offensive? How can I say this right? How can I do this right? How can I love right? Because after all, God is love. So the principle of love tells me that this is a soul. This is somebody's mother. This is somebody's father, right? They deserve dignity, even if they're behaving opposite, right? And this is the kind of teaching where offerings don't come in. I know it. But this is good stuff anyway. This is good stuff anyway. The board is like, I'm going to get him after church. Ooh, I'm going to kick his little... He's supposed to be talking about prosperity. No, listen. We clean this up, I promise you. It increases our prosperity because what happens is life in us matches life outside of us. Our prosperity is limited when we get out of the stream and out of the flow of life. Well, how do you get back in that stream? You start with self and you find out where in me is the offense, right? Everybody say Judas. The story of Judas is complicated. There was a war or miscommunication between the northern and southern camps in Israel. You had the northern kingdom, and then you also had another kingdom called Judah. In the Greek, Judah is Judas. Same word. Our ancestors were wonderful storytellers. And Judah or Judas means praise. But why would praise be the betrayer of the Christ? That makes no sense. Judas wasn't the betrayer of the Christ. Judas was the revealer of the Christ consciousness. See, the things in your life don't come to destroy you. They've come to show you who you really are. You wouldn't know who you really are until someone calls you out your name. Because it's at that moment I remember what my name really is. So it's not what you're called, it's what you answer to. Y'all remember that? So Judas is beat up on all throughout theology. But Judas was a broken man who had vulnerabilities, and it's unfortunate that the society of his day took advantage of his vulnerabilities, which is why the Bible says to guard your heart with all diligence. Say this with me. Guard your heart with all diligence. Because out of it flows the issues of life. Well, how do I guard my heart? It means to be self-aware. Nothai Sultan was the message on the temple of Delphi, those wonderful priestesses. When you needed a word from God in Greece, you went to the priestesses in the temple who gave you a prophetic word about the nature of your life. And their word always was know thyself. Know your tendencies. Know your hang-ups. Know your proclivities. Know certain conversations that are triggering. Know certain eye looks that are triggering. Do you like to be in closed rooms? Do you like to be touched? Because the problem isn't our love. The problem is our misappropriation and mistranslation of that love. See, I can't properly love you until you teach me about you and what you need. When you tell me what you need, then I can properly love you. And because people change, this is why we have problems with one another, because I'm loving you the way you used to like to be loved. You may not want to be touched today. You may not want company today. Today, you may want to be all by yourself. You may want to chill. You may want to hang out with friends. Say this with me, and it's okay.
It's okay.
Because when we create spaces for people to be, then folks don't have to rebel. The problem with Judas was that he felt the place that he was in was too small. So he betrayed one of his friends. And in his betrayal, he actually revealed the nature of who his friend actually was. We thought we saw the power of God when Jesus turned water into wine. We saw the power of God after the body of Jesus was destroyed. His reputation lived on for centuries. And see, some of you are fussing and complaining, like myself, about the things that trouble us. But believe it or not, if you can hang on and find hope, hope springs eternal. The things that are troubling you are going to reveal a side of you that the world has not seen. This is why the Buddha said after waking up under the Bodhi tree, he said, the world is on fire and I have to do something about it. Because our power sometimes doesn't lie in our victories. Our power lies in our defeat. Reinterpret it. We take a deep breath with the stuff that has happened to us. I'm preaching now. We take a deep breath concerning the stuff that has happened to us, and then we reflect back, and that's where the wisdom comes in at. No pain, no gain. You want wisdom. You want prophetic power. You want spiritual power. You want insight. You want revelation. Well, then this is what I have to give you, Adam. You got to get out of the garden. But I want blessings and safety. Cool. Go make it. Right? We thought leaving the garden was our punishment. It was actually your promotion. You questioned God. You said, show me the Father. And they said, behold, when you've seen me, you've seen the Father. You got to pay for that. See, you got to become what you've talked about. We say consciousness. We say awareness. All of this talk is the testing grounds of your faith. That's why the Bible says, try the Spirit by the Spirit to see whether or not they be of God. Say this with me, Satan. Satan in the Old Testament has a completely different role than what you've heard in theology. In the Old Testament, you know who Satan was? He was an attorney. The word Hasatan means divider. If you look at the book of Job, Satan was an accuser that actually worked for God. Look at the book of Job. Have you seen my servant Job? He's a righteous man. Go out and see if he's true to his word. You mean to tell me that life allowed this to happen to me? I can't say that. You know why? Because I'm still in my humanity, working on my divinity. I'm not quite there yet. But what I can say is that the things that have happened to me are happenings. Now I can decide what to do with them. So whether God allowed this stuff to happen or God allowed this thing to be broken, if God allowed people to get on my nerves, I can't say. But what I can say is that God in me is going to do something with the stuff that's going on. This is how we go from talking about God to becoming God. Because that's the journey. And we become God not through the Spirit, but we become God by allowing the Spirit to become flesh, then becoming Spirit all over again. So the journey isn't from spirit to spirit. The journey is from spirit to flesh and then back to spirit again. Because you've got to earn your keep. You've got to earn your stripe. You can't teach prosperity until you've demonstrated your own prosperity. How you going to teach prosperity if you still got creditors? Pick up the phone and call your creditors, work out a payment plan, and then watch them say, you know what, we've had 2 payments, we're going to wipe it out. Then you'll see that the very thing you were running away from is what life is pointing you back to. That's why some people you can't get away from. They keep calling and keep calling. And didn't I tell you to stop coming around? It's like Jazzy Jeff from Freshman Suburban. You gotta throw them out your life and throw them out your house. They keep coming back and coming back. The things that are coming up to be healed. Say this with me. The things that are coming up, they're doing so to be healed. This is why you see repeating patterns in your life. Because you are the pattern making. You are the pattern maker. You make a decision or perform an act that seems to be neutral and it causes a ripple effect and there's a pattern that emerges and something happens to you today that happened to you last week and you can't figure out why does this keep happening to me? Because it starts here. That's why the work is know thyself. Because it's like, oh, you know what? I got it. I figured it out. So when you figure it out, when you wake up, when you become conscious, you pop out of the game, you pop out of the matrix, and instead of walking, you fly. Now you become Neo. You become brand new. Right? Because that's what it is. You become brand new. Neo is the Christ-like figure in the story of the Matrix. But Neo's power came when he woke up and saw that it was all a game. Like that wonderful book in the 1980s. NLP people know about it. The Game of Life and How to Play It. The Game of Life. Yep, and how to play it. And there's also another book on the psychological level. The games that people play. The games we play in relationships. The games we play on jobs. The games we play on friendships. These are high stake games because we're playing with people's emotions, but they're still games. So how do you win? You win by realizing it as it is. People are just people. If I attach my opinion to everything that someone does, I'm going to give myself away and then I won't have anything left to me. Right? Here's a spiritual practice for you. It comes from the African tradition. Every night, and if you're watching online, I want you to do this. Every night when you go to sleep, call your energy back to yourself. All of the wisdom that you've given out, call it back to yourself. All of the opinions you've given out, call it back to yourself. All of the people that you've given your attention that have got on your nerves, call all that energy back to yourself. So when you go to sleep at night and wake up, you're not waking up with half of yourself, you're taking all of yourself with you. So what are you talking about, preacher? When we recognize that in this life, we are all going somewhere. The goal of life is to find out where we're going and then decide how we want to get there. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. But I have to warn you, if you have no brakes in life, you're going to run over persons, places, and things, and you're going to hurt yourself. But if you want to go far, take people with you and then have the patience to walk at the speed that they're walking. If they slow down with them. If they move fast, speed up. And if you reach a point like the Apostle Paul where you no longer can go in the same direction, you say this: may the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another. You hold no grudges, you let them go, and you allow them to have the peace. And so your peace you take with you, because Jesus said, in a place where you're not received, shake the dust off your feet and take your peace with you. My peace I leave with you is the peace that passes all understanding. But in places where you're not received, take it with you. Don't leave your opinion there. Give them the dignity of no response. Can I say this real quick? There's some text messages you shouldn't respond back to. Just don't respond. There's some phone calls, don't return. There's some conversations they're waiting on a response. Ignore. Block. Change the number. Change jobs. Relocate. Find another cafe. Find someplace else to go. And this is how we do the work of preserving ourselves on the journey, so that when we all reach the end of our race, we're there in one piece. And guess what? When you get there, I'll be there too, because I'll be there waiting on you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Oh, that was wonderful. Okay, we have Rebecca, Aleem, and Joyce signed up to help with the children's church. So we will be alternating Sundays with 2 people each Sunday. Let's make this happen by September. So anybody interested at all in helping with that ministry, info@unitybcamp.org. Just send us an email. Potluck Sunday, Happy Birthday Sunday. Whether you brought something or not, please join us. And we're going to be right out in the lobby. New members class with Reverend Jesse, July 17th. That will be at 12:30, right after the service. If anyone is interested, info@Unity.
Catch Lily in the back.
Or catch Lily in the back, or just send us an email at info@unitybcamp.org. Okay, yeah, go online. Okay, offertory. So if everyone will just take their time in their hands. Unity is thriving because we are generous with our donations and physical support. We're all volunteers, so with gratitude and love, holding your tithe in your hand, let us pray. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God, and so it is.
The offering bowls are in the back and in the lobby. And for those of you online, you can go to unitybhem.org/giving. Join us as we sing the peace song. Everybody want to stand? Protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. Thank y'all. Have a great week. And join us in